Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Brighter Black Futures podcast. I'm your host, Bisa, and I'm super excited to be here as usual, but today even more so than usual because this podcast should have been posted last week, Thursday. It's a few days late because technology failed me. I produced the podcast, I edited it, I did all the things for production value. It was captioned, it was ready to go, had this 25-minute podcast ready to go, and YouTube was like, no, ma'am. When I tried to upload it, no, ma'am. Spotify said, no, ma'am. Apple Podcast said, no, ma'am. So I couldn't post it. I tried a zillion times and I couldn't post it. So I'm doing it again because you know what today's theme is? Today's theme is all about Black joy, as my t-shirt, the message on my t-shirt speaks to, and it matters. And I was like, you're not going to steal my Black joy because Black joy is about resilience. Joy is about expressing. Black joy is about uplifting and celebrating Black cultures around the world. Black joy is about being unapologetically yourself and claiming good, not just struggle. Though we don't pretend there's no struggle, we know there's struggle, but we got to celebrate the fullness of the Black experience, and that includes discussions of Black joy. And that's what today is all about. And I wasn't going to let technology steal my Black joy or yours. So I'm here today. And it's a little late, and I apologize for that. But know that I tried my best to stick to the schedule and be on time, and it just didn't happen. But I am back today, gangbusters, and ready to go to give you the best podcast I can possibly produce. So let's get into it. So now we're here at the upliftment segment. And if you've been here for a while, you know this is a time when I share a quote that ties into the theme of the day and also one that totally uplifts me and hopefully will uplift you too. And today I have a great quote on Black joy from Ossie Davis, the late great Ossie Davis. Here it is. I find in being Black a thing of beauty, a joy, a strength, a secret cup of gladness. I love that quote so much. I'm going to do it again. Here it is. I find in being Black a thing of beauty, a joy, a strength, a secret cup of gladness. That quote so speaks to me because, of course, he's talking about Black joy, and we need to celebrate more of that and really revel in that experience. And also, there's so much when discussions of Black people come up, it's often couched around racism and other negative things that we have to face, obstacles we have to face. And again, like I said in the intro, we have a full experience and reveling in joy, being your whole and authentic self in the spaces that you can safely do so is so important. And it's a revolutionary act. And I really and truly believe that. And I'm sure some of you out there agree with me. And it's a beautiful thing. And this quote just speaks to that for me in so many ways. And I love it so much. So I'm sharing it with you. And I hope you got something good out of Mr. Davis's quote as well. So now it's time for the Black History moment. And usually I share a moment in Black history that is from a long time ago about somebody, that historical figure we should all know about. But today I'm changing things up because we're talking about Black joy. And I have experiences of Black joy in my life that I want to share with you. And there's some that you'll all relate to because there are things that happen in pop culture generally, and things are very specific to me, my family, and my life. So here we go. So first thing I want to talk about is the release of a great movie, a movie so many of us anticipated, couldn't wait to get to the theaters to see, and that is the release of Black Panther in February, I think it was February 14th, 2018, at least in North America or in Canada specifically. And listen, me and my friends could not wait to get to the theater. We bought tickets way in advance. We bought in an area where we knew there'd be lots of Black people, be a diverse crowd, and we went to the theater, we hunkered down, and we enjoyed that movie to the max. Like, it was so great to see a Black superhero, to see Black people in Africa who are smart and talented and doing things to change the world and just represented in a way we don't often get to see. And even the villain, I know people had complaints about the villain because he was the only American character and he was the villain, but he was a villain who had an MIT degree, who was super accomplished. And even that is unheard of, or up until that time wasn't heard of in a really significant blockbuster film. And also, despite some of the negativity, I remember that weekend, 50 Shades of Grey also came out, and a lot of people who were like, we don't want people of color to win. We're going to boycott the film. We're trying to slow down the numbers for Black Panther and go to see 50 Shades of Grey instead, or buy tickets and not show up. All kinds of weirdness happened. It didn't work because Black Panther broke all kinds of records in this first weekend and is still, I think, one of the top grossing films of all time. What? what? And it was great. And the second installment was wonderful as well. And introduced some Latin American characters, and I'm so here for that. And I can't wait for the third one to come out. It's gonna be amazing as well. And I'm sure, like me and my crew, you were also quite saddened by the passing of Chadwick Boseman. That was another moment that I think touched all of us in a not so great way, but he contributed so much in his way too short life. And I'm so glad he was able to bring us the first Black Panther. And again, that movie, that moment was, for me, chef's kiss, and really was a bright spot that brought me so much joy. And I think I actually went to see it in theaters 3 times, not just once. And every time I was like, I was so excited to go and see it. So there is the first thing that I want to tell you of that has brought me joy. Let's move on to that. And the second Black history moment that I want to share that brought me so much joy was the release of Beyonce's album Lemonade in 2016. Let me tell you, that was a listen, I'm not even a Beyonce stan. I like her in moments, and then I don't like her in others. I cannot speak any award negatively about her artistry and her commitment to giving us excellence in that realm, and her vision. But there are other things in politically, otherwise, socially, that I don't love about her. But when it comes to her art, magnifique, chef's kiss. And Lemonade was one of those moments for me. Listen, her musical and visual tribute to Black women and Black experiences in that film was, but like I'm thinking about it, I'm like chills. I go and listen to the album all the time, various tracks. Formation was my jam. That was the tour where I went and saw her for the first time, and probably likely the last time, because tickets are astronomical. And as I said before, I'm not totally a stan, but listen, listen, Lemonade, all the things in all the ways, was such a great moment of joy for me. And let me, while I'm talking about Lemonade, talk about Cowboy Carter. I don't think it hit me as hard as Lemonade did at the time. However, again, you may like her, you may love her, you may not think she's all that, whatever, wherever you fall in the spectrum, meh, the good that Cowboy Carter has done for Black people in country music is unmatched. I I think what impresses me a bit about Beyonce, maybe inspires me about her a lot, is the fact that she's doing something I want to do. I want to be able at some point to look back and say, look at all the people I helped and help pull up behind me, who are doing great things now and are able to do greater things in their community because I helped them. Um, and because helping people is a big part of why I'm doing everything I do, including Brighter Black Futures. And watching her do that, like, makes me so excited. So Lemonade was beautiful because it celebrated Black women in a beautiful way, a way we hadn't seen before. And the topic she was talking about was so important. And then Cowboy Carter is shape shifting country music. I'm so excited to see what happens. I guess this year or maybe next year at the Country Music Awards, and how they handle it. Because at one point, she had the top 15 songs in Apple Music country charts. The top 15 were all Beyonce. Like, how do you then not give her an award? Because they've been terrible to her in the past. But anyways, let me not get into all that. We could be here all day with the politics of it. But Beyonce's Lemonade, another moment where I was like, I love this so much. Cannot contain my joy. It was such a beautiful, beautiful album and tribute to Black women. And I was like, yes. And Black people in general. But she did lean into Black women in that album. And I can't say enough about that moment in pop culture history for me that brought me so much joy. The third moment of Black joy in my life I want to talk about is the family reunion my family had in 2018 in Jamaica, and a specific aspect of the reunion. It was great all around. It was so wonderful to be in the country my parents come from, Jamaica, and to be with my family, my closest family. It was gorgeous. And to be celebrating each other and just be with people where you belonged, not only with on the island. It felt like, because of course, Jamaica is a predominantly Black island, so I'm just in that space. I'm not generally other than when I open my mouth, so I can walk around and just be like. I'll get into that more later. That feeling, and then to be with my family where I belong to and who want me there, and it just feels great. And then a lot of the experiences over the time. And one key experience for me on that trip was when on the Sunday, we went back to my mom's hometown, which is a town called Lutry, which is about 100 miles outside of Montego Bay, very tiny town. And we had a picnic and celebration right on the property they were born on. So the house they lived in was in the distance, a little dilapidated to say the least, but we're on the property and we ate and we talked and we hung out and there were speeches. Each of the elders in my family got up to speak. So my mom and all her siblings who were there, and it was wonderful. I learned a lot. It felt good. Yeah. And thinking about that too as well, the entire experience, so beautiful, so moving, and really, really connected us in a really deep way. And kind of reset our family for more awesome things as a result. And yeah, I can't say enough about that celebration and being in the space with everyone in the family, not everyone, everyone who's able to make it, and just celebrating the Miles clan. My mom's maiden name is Miles, and just celebrating the Miles clan and just being celebrated by them as well. And I'm so grateful we got to do that. So if any of my cousins are watching, especially the ones who helped put it together, thank you for that. It was amazing, and a memory I will have in my heart, my little heart right here forever. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing and a beautiful time. And another moment when I think back to it, there's like all the joy all day long. I love it. And the last thing I want to speak about is what I alluded to in the last section is the feeling of being in an all black space. That brings me so much joy, not because I don't want to see other people, but because it's a chance to and relax and take off this cloak that I've been wearing for my whole life, being guarded against the possibility of being othered in a way that will impact me emotionally when I'm just going about my daily life, because I live in a predominantly white space. So I live downtown Toronto. It's super mixed. I work for myself, and all kinds of things in my life are in place. And real for me that protect me from overt forms of racism and most covert forms, in fact, too. However, generally, if you're a racialized person, especially if you occupy a black or brown body, there are lots of little things that happen that you get used to. This low grade feeling of just not belonging, not being accepted, that you're very aware of. So when I step into a space that's super diverse and welcoming or all black, cloak comes off, I relax, and it's wonderful. The sense of belonging and peace and connection is great. And this happens for me most often in the context of my life right now when I'm at the vendor market selling a BBF gear like this shirt right here I'm wearing. And one last year at the Afrofest market was a particularly good example of this. It was 3 days of hard work, but also of awesome because of the connected, belonging type feelings that happened for me and everyone who was working with me at the booth. And we had some great conversations with people because we hung up all the shirts that people came and talk to us about the messages. But one in particular is a shirt we have that says, "I am not your safe black friend." And listen, people pass by the booth and would touch their heart and look at us, would raise their fist, would pass by and bow. And just the conversations that were so good and so enriching that came out of discussing all the messages that on the shirts we offer. But that one in particular, I want to tell you a story. There's a woman who came by and bought the shirt after much discussion with us and left and came back the next day and told us that she wore it to a place that is, when I say predominantly white, super, this place, one of the most in all of Toronto. I said, "You wore that there. Wow, what happened?" She says, "A lot of averted eyes, but a few brave souls approached me and said, 'What does your shirt mean?'" And she said, "I actually had the discussion. That felt like really empowering for me." I'm like, good for you. And kudos to those people who don't interact with a black person who's that bold, wearing something that would probably be charged for them, and having the courage to talk to that woman. Kudos to them. But for me, being able to have those type of conversations and learn from people and see what they're doing to express and be unapologetically themselves like that woman did in that space, so much, like, again, so much joy. I cannot wait to do it again this year. I just applied for AfroFest and I'm hoping they'll accept me. And yeah, I can't wait. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. And if you know, you know, if you have similar experiences, for sure. All right, that is it for this section. On to the next one. I hope your days are filled with black joy too. Let me end with that. I hope your days are filled with much black joy and you have as many stories as I do, if not more, of moments of black joy in your life. So this segment is all about cultivating black joy in children. So we're going to give you some tips you can use to cultivate more black joy in your kids so they'll be their best and most confident selves as they grow into adulthood and be able to show up unapologetically in all the spaces they occupy, or at least the spaces they feel, the very least the spaces they feel safe to do so. We want more of that for black children. And here are some tips that I found by doing some research on the interwebs that I'd like to share with you. So first up, you want to honor your kids by witnessing them just as they are, looking upon them and gazing at them with awe, letting them know that they're beautifully made, that you see them and value them just as they are. They're more than enough. You want to let them know often and loudly, perhaps, that they're loved, you're proud of them, you really see them, and you want to get to know them again for who they are and who they want to be and show up as in the world. And by doing that, by allowing space for that as much as possible in their lives, you're going to help them grow into proud and confident and resilient adults who are going to change the world. And don't we want that for our children, the leaders of tomorrow, right? And the second tip is to listen to them, to open our big old ears, lean for some active listening, and really talk to our kids and hear what they're saying when we ask them questions. So ask about their hopes and dreams and really listen and take note. And if you can, find ways to support them in ways that are meaningful for your child and that your child will understand clearly is you supporting them. Not what you want to do, what works for them as far as support. This is important. So you can listen and then offer support to help them achieve their goals and dreams. Find out what they love doing and then engage with those activities with them so they know that they're really being seen and heard. And finally, what I want to say about this, and I know it's hard because some kids talk a lot. I know I talked a lot as a kid, and I'm sure I drove my mom crazy. When you get tired of listening, when you're full up to hear of listening, and you feel like I can't even listen a second more, lean in and listen more. Even then, listen more. And keep going and listen so your kids feel heard and seen by you and the kids in your lives feel heard and seen by you always. The third thing is to celebrate Black excellence and Black history all the time, not just in February, not just when a holiday rolls around, all the time, 365, because we are here all the time and we're here everywhere and there's lots to share. So make sure you educate yourself, get your kids the books they need to learn so they can see historical figures, contemporary figures who are doing big things, whether that's a celebrity you really admire, not every celebrity will count, but ones you really admire who are doing things well in their career or politically or socially to make a difference. Tell your kids about those people. Talk to them about political figures you admire in the Black community, activists who are doing things to make a change, people who are doing great things, changing the world and moving Black communities all over the world forward and making progress for us as a community. We also want to talk about history, like I said, 365, and not just limited to our community, because like I said, we are everywhere and we should be talking about it because a lot of our histories are buried and I think, and aren't taught in schools, and kids need to know because knowing their history gives them more confidence and greater pride in where they come from and their ancestors. And I think that's so important. And I hope you do too. And I hope you'll do it. So Black excellence and Black history 365. Make sure you're pouring into your kids that way. The final tip is to use movement and music and art as therapy. There are a lot of things we can't control in our lives as adults, and the little people in our life have even less control. So you want to ask them to focus and teach them to focus on the things they can control, like moving their bodies. Moving our bodies helps to release endorphins and oxytocin, all these things that make us feel good. And so you want to do more of that. Get into your body, dance and sing to music you love, make a playlist of songs that your kids love that cultivate more Black joy in them. Show them artwork that is beautiful and speaks to them. Maybe fill your house with it, whether it's little postcards or images of your family, or you're going to go out and buy giant art pieces, whatever works for you, but add beauty to your home, add music to your home, move and dance and sing, get out into the outdoors and explore and do things. Teach your kids to do the things that they can do easily or relatively easily to be themselves and express in ways that are healthy. And that's very therapeutic for all. I know when I go for a walk in nature and when I listen to playlists I love, it's on and I feel great. So I know that's a great way to cultivate joy in all of us, including our children. All right. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the show and are feeling more joyous as a result of watching and listening to this podcast. Please know that in the show notes today, in order to help cultivate more Black joy everywhere, I'll be adding some links to posts, videos, books for kids, adults, and teens, and also a ton of playlists. There's so many Black joy playlists online. It is crazy, but I'm sharing some of the best that I found, and I hope you enjoy them and that they're great resources for you. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And let's pray that there are no delays in the next post of the next podcast due to any technical difficulties. And I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Take care and be joyous. Bye.